I have a 1994 Mazda Rx7. I got into cars in an early age. My father had a race car when I was younger, and he's had cars throughout his life. It's just something that my family, we eat, sleep, and breathe racing. It's not just me, it's my dad and my whole family. You know, ever since a little kid playing with Hot Wheels all the way up, you know, from my first car that I had, you know, getting my license and stuff like that. It's just, you know, something that I've always loved. So it's kind of a funny story. I got into the rotary scene. My mom, she actually bought a 2004 Mazda RX-8, and ever since then, just the whole body line of the car and just, you know, how it looked, I kind of fell in love with it. But the biggest thing that kind of turned me on to getting a rotary was the whole engine. It was completely different than anything that I've ever heard or really seen. And just the way it drove and the way it sounded and stuff like that. I like that it was completely different than any other car on the road. You know, it's not just like your average, you know, your average car. It's the engine's completely different. I think that's what makes the RX-7 and the rotary so unique. My plan for my RX-7 was going to be more for track. You know, like I said earlier, I'm big when it comes to like race-inspired stuff. So when it came to my car, I wanted to build it for track. Everything when it comes to the engine and when it comes to how it looks, I want to go for, you know, the track type look. So I like going fast around corners, and that was like my biggest goal when I got the car. Make it really fast, but also, you know, you know, the handling is very important as well. It's a regular 2-rotor. You know, same as the stock engine. It's a 2-rotor. It's high compression rotors. The rotors have been side clearanced, and the eccentric shaft has been balanced. It's a half bridge port, which was done by Kyle Mohan. He was the one that did the side clearancing. It has a different fuel pump, different fuel lines, different injectors. I'm running 1700s in the primary, 2000s in the secondary. By Full Function Engineering, and I'm running a BorgWarner 7670. It's their twin scroll ball bearing turbo with the turblown full turbo kit for the 7670. Also, it's running full exhaust all the way back. They're actually 3 1/4 all the way back with a Borland muffler. The suspension setup I have on it, it's Apexi N1 coilovers, and then I have front and rear Godspeed sway bars. And then just the Cusco strut bar, and then I have the stock rear strut bar. The Volk Rays 57 DRs. I have 9.5 in the rear and 8.5 in the front, and I believe it's a plus 38 offset. The body of the car is basically stock. Actually, it is stock. I don't have any fender flares or anything like that. Stock body line. Eventually, I'll probably go with the wide body setup. When it comes to into the rear. The front, I might go with like a bigger front fender, but I'm probably going to go wider in the rear just because of the amount of power. I'm going to need to run bigger tires and stuff like that. It's running a 275 in the rear. The only thing that's going to be different on the body is going to be the rear wing. I'm running an RE Amemiya, their GT wing from Japan. And then I also have the RE rear taillight finisher cover. But other than that, everything else is stuff. Future plans that I have about the car, I definitely want to go with the big brake kit. That's something that's going to be very, very important, especially when the amount of power you got to stop. You know, the stock has a 4-piston setup, which is pretty good in the front, but definitely want to go with a bigger brake kit, bigger rotors, bigger calipers. I want to do a full cage. Well, when it comes to doing the roll bar in the back. I don't know if I want to go all the way to the front, but I definitely want to do a cage in the back. Seats, I'm either going to get mine re-leathered to stay with the stock seats, or go with an aftermarket seat setup with seat belts with a harness and everything like that. And then front, side skirts, and rear diffuser. And I think basically that'll be good for a little bit. Yeah, it's never going to be done, so. The biggest issue that I had with my car was figuring out like what the sweet spot is. It's been on the dyno multiple times. Just with the half bridge port setup, it's a little bit different setup where it's very tedious. It pulls in a lot of air, which requires a lot of fuel, so messing with the fuel and stuff like that. I'm on my second engine. The first engine, I didn't port the wastegates on the stock turbos, so I was boost spiking, so I made too much boost and the engine popped. But the cool thing is I got to make the engine how I was going to do it in the future. So I actually just sped up that process, and now it's exactly how I want it. So I'm pretty happy with that. My car means to me, it's basically a symbol of who I am. I think that's why anyone, really starts fixing up their car. They don't just want to have the same exact thing as Joe Schmo that goes to the dealership and buys. It really shows you, the type of person that I am, especially when it comes to, the time and effort that goes into building a car. It really shows that, the person, it's not just something you drive every day. It's something that you enjoy. It's something that you're very proud of. My car is me. It's a part of me, and I think that's the biggest thing. If you're trying to get an RX-7, I would definitely go online and read up a lot about them. There's a lot of stuff that I didn't even know, and I thought I knew a decent amount when I bought my car. When it comes to small maintenance stuff, when you get the car from completely stock, small things that normally crack and leak that you might want to fix, or different modifications that you're going to try to do without getting it dyno tuned or doing something to the ECU. I would just do your research. The awesome thing about the rotaries is they like to be driven hard. They don't like to be driven like a grandma. If you like driving cars, it's definitely something to consider, because you hear a lot of people talk about how many problems they have, X, Y, and Z. If you know what you're doing and you treat your car well, you won't have the problems that are rumored, basically. I would like to thank a lot of people. DNA Garage helped me out throughout the whole thing. Kyle Mohan, he was the one that assembled my engine. He did the side clearancing on the rotors and on the eccentric shaft. Just the rotary community in general, they're just amazing. There's good shops out there, and there's definitely people that you can trust and stuff like that. But I bring my stuff to Louis at DNA Garage. He's very knowledgeable, and he understands what you want. And when it comes to telling him what you want and with the budget that you have, he definitely can make it happen. And I would trust him with any other car that I have. So.